Hey guys, Ken here from the Retro Toy Escapades channel in Malaysia. Continuing my look at all of the new MOTU products that were announced last week, I covered the origin stuff in two separate videos, and now it's time to discuss the Masterverse figures that were part of the revelation. I'm going to separate them up as well. So for today's video, I'm going to check out the 4 figures that are listed to be part of Wave 9. Wow! Wave 9, huh? As I mentioned in several previous videos, Masterverse products stopped coming into retail here in Malaysia as of Wave 4 from last year. And we did get some of the product that was tied into the 40th anniversary celebrations, but nothing else. Actually, I only knew that this was Wave 9 because Entertainment Earth said so. So what happened was like just a day after the announcements, almost everything went up on pre-order at several online sites. Entertainment Earth was one of them, and they got this locked down as a Wave 9 assortment. Okay, guys. This is a vintage heavy inspired wave. All 4 characters featured here have roots dating back to the original MOTU figures from the 80s. First up, let's check out Merman. Now this Merman is supposed to be based off his appearance in the Revelation cartoon, but from his earlier days before the Great War. This interpretation of him has the very recognizable Lords of Power style armor, along with the Sword of Rakash, and this is the version of Merman that I would very much like to have in my collection. Not the version from Masterverse Wave 4, which was based off his appearance in Revelation Season 1. I never liked that version. The one that had no armor on, it was basically shirtless Merman. I had no choice but to get it because it was part of the set, but until today, it's still in the box. I've never opened him up. I never reviewed him, never handled him, just left him in there. No one even asked me to talk about him. Okay, so yeah, but this version, okay, yeah, let's have it, all right? If you're getting a classic inspired Merman in Masterverse, let this be it, all right? And then, just let that be the end of it, because Merman is okay, but he isn't really all that, all right? To me at least. But you know what? Somewhere out there, there's probably a need to have an alternate head of Merman with the classic style, huge round eyes, okay? The version which also turned up in Origins Wave 5. And having a new Masterverse-styled alternate head of that version would be great, I guess. But anyway, let's move on. Move on to Buzz Off. Now, this is supposed to be the new Eternia version of the character, and holy shit, I wasn't expecting this particular look for him at all. Now, you guys on the channel know that I'm not a fan of Buzz Off. The vintage figure was super friendly looking, and, he kind of had a dopey looking smile. Now though, he's still got the smile, but it's super sinister looking, like that of some movie serial killer. A serial killing mutant bee hybrid monster. The 2002 style the Buzz-Off figure was also really good in its updated design, but it lacked articulation. I have to say that this is possibly the best Buzz-Off action figure ever crafted. Was there any that looked better? I mean, Mondo? Now, I don't think Mondo ever got around to doing Buzz Off, okay? Now, he has an all-new chest harness piece and the bee goggles. Everything about him pretty much looks like the Buzz Off that you'd expect, except for that face sculpt. Now, in terms of a new Eternia concept look, I'm not really seeing it here though. Not like what they've done with some of the other figures, but this is still possibly the first time I'm actually looking forward to a new Buzz Off action figure. Next up, we've got Faker. Faker is supposed to be another new Eternia release that's part of this wave, and this is one good-looking Faker release, man. We had the previous one, of course, I think like 2 years ago already now, and that one was the first deluxe release for Masterverse. That one had a ton of accessories for a deluxe figure, definitely, and I think still the only Masterverse set to come with 3 head sculpts, okay? But that earlier release was based off the Revelation cartoon, which I liked, but a lot of people out there were also like, fuck that shit, So anyway, just like what you like, okay? And if you don't, you don't, all right? There's no rules here. Still, this version is based off the vintage series, all right? It's going back to its roots, and everything from the sculpt to the paint apps just looks fantastic. Especially when you check out the paint job on the sword and the axe, okay? Especially the paint shading that you see there. It kind of reminds me of Mondo stuff, like the accessories that come with the Mondo figures. I don't know why, it just seems like everything here has just stepped up a little bit more. And that face sculpt that's on Faker, it's a HeMan head for sure, but I don't think it's a HeMan head that we've had before. Definitely not a vintage style HeMan head. I tried to check back the HeMan head that came with the Viking HeMan. It wasn't that. So this is something like an all-new head sculpt, all right? And it's probably going to be great if they re-release this in normal colors for HeMan as well. But for now, it seems like Faker's got an exclusive HeMan hit for the Masterverse scale. I think this whole set just looks freaking fantastic. I'm not sure why it's new Eternia though, because it kind of seems like just a regular Faker figure. I mean, you put the armor on, you take the armor off, you get the circuitry on his chest. It's kind of like every other Faker that you have out there, right? So I'm not really sure why this is supposed to be a new Eternia version, but either way, it's just freaking fantastic, guys. I can't wait to land this figure. And finally, we get down to Grizzla. Grizzla here, when I first saw the image here from a distance, I thought it was like a deep cut barbarian character, like maybe Vicor, one of those guys. But it turns out that's actually Grizzla minus the fur. The fur is a separate piece, right? Previously, I remember when they put out the Masterverse Hordak Deluxe figure, and Grizzla was actually on the card back, the box artwork. And I joked about how, what if we got a Masterverse Grizzla? That would be the only Grizzla figure to date that wasn't going to be an exclusive, because up to that point, we had two Grizzla Origins figures back to back that were just exclusives. The reason for that was obviously because, of the cost involved with getting the tooling for all the fur that's supposed to be on his body. It seems like they worked around that somehow for this particular figure, because the fur is just something that is a separate piece that he wears. So that's kind of like a bit weird, because it kind of seems like a caveman cosplaying as Grizzla or something like that. I don't know, man. It doesn't seem like an authentic Grizzla, but I get the decision to do this. And for what it is, when he's fully furred up, he looks good, I gotta say. The weapons look great as well. The hot crossbow and also the axe accessory, these all look great. But it is a bit of a departure. It is a bit unexpected to actually get him in this way. And I did see a lot of discussions online about the head sculpt. A lot of people are just not happy with how it turned out. Maybe it's because, it's not super furry looking like how we've come to expect Grizzla to look. I mean, I can definitely see where that's coming from. The head sculpt here looks very human. Like I said, like a barbarian. But you do see traces of Grizzla in there, especially with the skin tone and those glaring eyes, And, I suppose the main issue here is just the fact that people just wanted more fur on his head and not this slicked back hairdo. Yeah, but I suppose they couldn't give him something like a fur wig to put on. That would just look ridiculous, right? So, yeah, I mean, it's a bit of a concession on their part there. I do think that a lot of people may not exactly consider this to be the definitive, Grizzla, but it is the Grizzla figure that comes with the Princess of Power line that's associated with Masterverse. So I guess it's the only Grizzla figure that we're getting here. And, all in, it's a good take. I am interested to see how he looks like when we finally get him in hand. This whole wave, like I mentioned, right, it's very vintage heavy. It's kind of a treat to fans. Okay, let me know what you think about it in the comment section. I'll catch you guys again real soon with more content right here. Thank you, and take care out there.